Hello and welcome to the Dominion Daily for May 21st, 2026. We've got Prosperity and Allies today, and we've got investment and modify for trashing. Also, eventually, Carpenter, not just trashing, but remodeling, of course. When a pile is empty, modify, of course, can also remodel. Uh, we've got plus actions from Workers Village and Specialists. There is no draw. That's unfortunate. And for gains, we've got buys from Grand Market, Workers Village, potentially Galleria, gains from uh, War Chest, Carpenter before a pile empties, gain cheap cards, and then the remodeling from modifying Carpenter. Okay, so yeah, the lack of draw is going to obviously be the big limitation here. Um, and especially on a colony board, we probably want to be playing a big Grand Market stack, which can be made bigger via Specialist to double play Grand Markets. Um, Nothing costing less than 4 in the kingdoms, so I guess we're opening with a silver. So we were going to want to thin for sure. The lack of draw makes that pretty important. I think the question is, do we get an investment or do we wait for modify? Modify, um, or, well, part of the reason to go for modify, I mean, we could potentially play with both, of course, or multiple investments or multiple modifies, whatever. But part of the reason to not open with investment, I guess, is to open with quarry. Quarry silver. I guess the thing about quarry is we're not we're not going to be able to hit Grand Market, and none of the other action cards, with the exception of modify, uh, like the quarry making things cheaper is not actually going to do that much outside of gaining Grand Market. So like we could probably afford to wait on the quarry um, until a little bit later. I guess I should say that uh, obviously the quarry would help us get to modify, um, but we can, if we open with investment, obviously we get started trashing earlier. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna do that. Okay, 4 could go ahead and take a quarry now. It's still not gonna be possible to hit Grand Market unless we line up all of investment silver or quarry or get another silver or something, but it's still worth picking up. Well, gross. To look at. Okay, trash this too. I was thinking about with specialist, if you specialist an investment, like can you get the points twice? And the answer is no. Because that could be an alternative scoring mechanism here, although compared to colony, obviously it's not that great. All right, do we take a workers village? I don't think carpenter is very good. We could take another investment. I'd rather have a modify, but I mean, I guess you take what you can get, right? All right, well, maybe we just get a modify now. We still managed to only trash one estate, which is a bunch of nonsense. At least I think we had an estate. It's the shuffle something. Now maybe we take Workers Village. We could take a second quarry, I guess. We don't have the plus buy yet, but and we're not going to want two quarries in the long term, I don't think. Hmm. I always modify into Grand Market as well, if that isn't making sense. Why not? All right, I think. I think I'd rather have a specialist than a second modify. We still can't afford a Grand Market. Fuck. uh, I think another specialist here. Like, what are we gonna? I mean, I guess if we get to play Quarry with it, that's something. Ugh. Modify. Okay. Well. So we could just modify investment into Grand Market and Specialist Quarry. We don't get to trash this copper, but we get two Grand Markets. We still have an investment in our deck as well as the modified to continue cleaning up copper. Uh, we're not going to need two investments for too much longer anyway. Yeah. Wait, no, we can't do that. We can't both Specialist the Quarry. Okay, never mind. Uh, it's just not what I want. Do with this. We get a third specialist. When we've got the target number of targets on our deck is not that. I guess. I mean, ultimately, it should be good. Okay, here we go. The question is, do we specialist the Grand Market or the Quarry? We'll definitely get two Grand Markets if we specialist the Quarry, but we'll also get two Grand Markets if we specialist the Grand Market. So I guess we might as well specialist the Grand Market. Uh, do we modify investment to Grand Markets? Wait, we actually don't. We actually can't afford a Grand Market right now. I think I'm just gonna play the modify option. Okay, now I can. do have to not trash the investment yet, which is maybe not ideal. Okay, here, I mean, obviously we could modify these investments into grand markets, but they are stop cards. I'm wondering if I should just trash it for 1 VP. Might be better at this point. Oh, wait. We do have. Uh, we didn't need to double play the quarry. Is that. Hmm. Hmm. I do want to trash the copper. I wouldn't care about trashing the silver, but then if we were to like specialist the investment, we wouldn't be able to for the grand market. Uh, I'm struggling to see anything better to do. Fortunately, I mean, if we just played, if we play investment, trash copper, and don't double play the quarry, we get an extra VP, but we don't hit 4. That can't be worth it. Yeah. All right. I don't think we can do any better than this. Sad thing is, like, I'd rather have the investment in the deck than the silver because the silver is going to be hard to turn into anything useful. But whatever. Oh, ah, I feel like I should have been ahead on this, and then I just wasn't. Well, there's very little reason not to just double play the grand market now. Yeah, did I? Maybe I didn't lose the split. The bot has more specialists. Okay, that last card is the modify. No, I did lose the split. Man, how the hell did that happen? Like, what? All right. We have 8 buys. We don't have enough to like win the game this turn. If we could have like gained more specialists or something, but bot has already trashed its silver and its investment has 2 modifies. Uh, okay, there's no reason not to do this. Bot just got a Galleria, which can give more buys. I'm so annoyed that I lost the Grand Market split. Like, what a joke. How did it have that good of a turn? Saw all of the Grand Markets in its deck that were already in its deck. I mean, and both of the specialists as well, and the quarry. It just didn't. I don't know if it was like already thinner or what exactly, but god damn it. All right. Okay, so we could also take a Galleria. Um, also just take another specialist. It's a little bit risky, right? If with 4 Grand Markets in the deck, if we don't find, if we have too many specialists and we don't find the Grand Markets, I have to be looking at the estate pile out. The bot only has 1 quarry, so it does have to spend a specialist on it to get, the stuff really cheap. I mean, I do think it's worth converting a silver into a Galleria, and we don't really need the silver this turn, I don't think. Or no, wait, no, we do the investment. 18 coins. Just want to double check here that we don't need points, right? 3 specialists. We'd have 9 gains. But yeah, this is like, not that these are so cheap anyway, but it's like 10 gains, 10 gains. Yeah, it's not quite there. I think we do probably need to buy a colony. That defends against the estate pile out. Stop card wise, 1, 2, 3, 4. Modify doesn't have to be a stop card. We can potentially take some workers' villages. The bot has more buys though. I'm so annoyed about this. I have no idea, honestly, how many workers' villages would even be safe. Because, like with Galleria, it's really complicated. The answer might be none, because, or that it doesn't matter. If the bot can draw its deck, get the Galleria into play, and double play Quarry, then it can buy any number of workers' villages for free. So in that scenario, it empties the workers' villages, and then it has however many buys to get like specialist, and I mean, and it does have more Grand Markets, which means it has more money than I do. So, like, do I need to take a duchy defensively? I really don't want to do that. I feel like we shouldn't lower the work villages, even though it would be useful to have the bias for our own pile out threat. But if the bot isn't able to double play the quarry, then we don't want to lower the workers' villages. Because we could take a free innkeeper, and if nothing else, like it's a modified target if that's relevant. Can also sift past green cards. There's no downside to taking an innkeeper because the workers' villages are at 9 anyway. I really don't want a duchy in my deck, but I would not rule out the possibility the bot can get like, I don't know, 8 estates in a duchy or something. Well, that would only tie. If the bot, so it has 6 grand markets, which is 12, and then if it plays 3 of its specialists on grand market, that's 18. To quarries is 20. Galleria is 23. So yeah, I can definitely do the estates in the duchy off of that. This is assuming no gain in play. Can the bot gain in play? Because stop card wise, I guess it probably can. I mean, it has the Galleria and the Quarry, and that's like it to modify. But I mean, I guess what is the bot going to trash? A workers' village into something, maybe? Uh, I guess the thing about the Galleria, it actually isn't gaining you buys if workers' villages are free. Now, like, what are you buying that where the Galleria is giving you buys? Hmm. Maybe it is safe for me to take workers' villages. Like, it has to cost 4, and if it costs 4, you're not gaining a million workers' villages. It's not possible. And meanwhile, if I add buys on my end, yeah, let's get. I think it's probably not a good idea to lower specialist. But let's get at least one more of each of these. Two more. Bot would need. So if we lower this to 7, right now it's 11, 12, 13 games for the bot to win with like Colony Duchy, and has so 6, 7, 8, 9. It has that many, does have that many gains, but does it have. Without playing the modify, it has. I guess it also should raise the question of whether it's even worth gating the gallery in the first place. I mean, like a. I don't know. Back to that. So 6 grand markets is 7 buys, 3 more from specialists is 10 buys, 1 from the workers' village is 11 buys. So it already has 11 buys just for the pile emptying. It would need 13 gains to then get the colony duchy. It has the 2 modifies, but what would it modify? It wouldn't actually need the Galleria, I suppose. Just the money from the grand markets would be enough to empty these pot, or sorry, to buy colony duchy. So then it could like modify into one of these cards or modify into the duchy. Uh, all the way up here. Um, yeah, I think the Galleria doesn't actually do anything. Maybe I should just take two duchies and just be really safe. Duchy. Now the question is, can I afford to take like another specialist or modify or something? And should I? Taking one innkeeper is clearly safe, and I should do that. Um, bigger points lead. The bot could still win by emptying estates and colony, but I don't think it's going to have the money for that. That would be 27. I calculated it having like 23, and it can potentially do gain and play, but it doesn't have much to trash. Modify into gold, we give it 3 coins. And it would still need to get the specialists. I guess it should have the buys for that, but specialist isn't going to be free just from double playing quarry once. There could also be specialist gaining specialist, but then that puts strain on the draw. Um, yeah. So I have colony, 2 duchies. That's 3 stop cards, 4, 5, 6 stop cards. So we do have to be concerned about that. Um, the innkeeper is like going to be the only way we can actually make it to the end of the deck. Our end, we haven't gained any gains. We have 8 pies, plus the modify gain is 9. That's not enough to empty piles next turn. We take a workers' village, we're at 10 gains. With 11 needed just to empty piles. We could take workers' village specialist. That gets a little potentially risky. But we're going to take a workers' village. We might as well take another innkeeper. I think I will do that. I guess the other question is it safe to lower these piles again? It's a lot of buys for the bot to do that, and then it needs to score and empty specialists. It would need, if it's not emptying on estates, it would need to go like Colony Province double estate or Colony Province duchy, which is a lot. I think that should be okay. And in which case, now we do technically have enough gains to empty the bot. We can force the bot to need to take a points lead. Just taking a points lead, we're not emptying next turn anyway. Well, unless we're doing on estates, which would be 11 gains, which is one more than we have. So maybe we should take a specialist. I don't know. I guess I don't know. It feels risky, but we could also take another modify. I mean, it could be hard to just, you know, be able to modify stuff like to like realize all those gains. But hmm, take a specialist and a modify. Seems risky in its own right. Man, I don't know. I'm gonna. Oh wait, we only had one buy left. Never mind. They already spent all their specialists, so they can't. Oh, okay. I was gonna say they can't double play the quarry. All right. So now, if we can get our two quarries into play or specialist one, we win. Basically, I mean, we do have to get enough buys as well. We have four specialists and four grand markets. So ideally, we would specialist all the grand markets. Like we need 8 buys. Specialist all the grand markets would do that. And then we just need to see 2 quarries, which means we only need 2 stock cards in our hand, which means we can afford to discard some stuff to Innkeeper. We play Innkeeper for 5-6 already. But then we'd essentially have to discard, like we'd be discarding down to 3 cards, which doesn't really make sense when we've already got 3 grand markets in hand. If we go 3-3 with the Innkeeper, then we uh, I mean, we're really hoping is that we draw like a specialist and 2 duchies or something like that. We discard modified duchies and play the specialist or whatever. But I think do the 3-3 thing. Okay. That's not bad. 2 stop cards and a modify out of the way. I mean, we could play the modify for a game for sure, but I think it'd be easier not to. Okay, here we go. Yes. Okay. Might as well play the Workers' Village. All right. We need. We have. Oh, we're already there. We have 9 buys. Oh, the Workers' Village. Right. For somehow I thought. Why did I think I needed to buy or to play all 4 of my grand markets? Because I forgot about my starting buy, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I forgot about the starting buy. Okay, well, great. Um, in that case, what is even down here? We discarded Duchy Silver Modify, so there's Modify, Colony, uh, and Specialist Grand Market. Okay, we can just go like this. Ooh. Not really ideal, but another innkeeper. Okay, whatever. Da, 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 da. So yeah, definitely a misplay from the bot to buy 2 platinums. Like what? Not not that the workers' village buy ended up mattering, but that didn't make a lot of sense either. I think yeah, I assume that the bot basically made the same mistake with the Galleria that I was in the process of making before I realized it was a mistake. To think like, oh, this is going to give me extra reach on the buy front, which it does not. Um, I still don't know how the fonts deck came together faster than mine. Like, I got to the point of getting grand markets sooner. Is it just because the bot got like to modify earlier than I did or something? The bot completely passed on a 3 coin hand. I guess I can see the logic in that. I didn't have to make that decision. Not sure whether I would have taken a silver there or not. The second investment, yeah, the bot got a modify here, which I do think is better. I mean, it's not that much better, really, right? Like early in the game, investment giving you a coin versus modify drawing you a card are pretty similar. But it's like the cycling. Obviously, you're like getting through your deck faster that way. Is the advantage, but then I get a modify. Then it passes another turn. Wow. Okay. And I get quarry. So that's the second quarry. And it gets a workers' village, which is mostly nothing at this point. I mean, maybe the bot already has a quarry. No, it doesn't even. How on earth did it get ahead of me here? I get the specialist, which is okay. Maybe that should have been a modify. I already had 2 trashers. Oh no, wait, did I already get a modify as well? Yeah, I did. Okay. Okay. I get another specialist. The bot gets nothing again. Like, what? How? All right. So here we get a grand market. The bot gets nothing again. I get another specialist. Modify investment into grand market. Wait, how did the bot even? Wait, when did it trigger a shuffle here? Wow. Okay, that's crazy. It's a quarry finally. I get another grand market and another grand market, so I'm at 3 to the bot's 1, and I have specialists. Modify to grand market. Wait, the bot never had that second modify. The end. I have the second modify like I thought it did. Okay. So I was miscounting its gains the whole time. Modify to grand market. Again, top deck grand market. Its deck wasn't that small. Oh, it was. It didn't. It wasn't drawing anything. Okay, I guess it. I guess it did get thinner faster. It spent all those turns not buying anything. I when I was like getting the specialists, but you would think like having the specialist is going to be better than not. Uh, and gets a grand market and a specialist. Yeah, and then I have this turn where I don't see like any of my good cards basically. I mean, I saw a specialist was like, where are my grand markets? I had three of them. So like this turn, if I had, I assume, well, I didn't shuffle. Hmm, shuffled here. So then I just bottom decked a specialist in two grand markets. Yeah, if I had seen some of this stuff, then I would have been clearly ahead. But instead, this happened. Okay, well, I'm not really sure what the takeaway from that is exactly. Um, maybe getting the second quarry wasn't actually good. I should have just been relying on specialists to play that. Maybe I should have, like, was I supposed to not gain specialists on those five hands? I don't know. I mean, it's a really awkward kingdom for sure. I guess I was saying that the advantage of modify over investment is the cycling, but it is also that then later you can modify like some of this stuff like into grand market. That's definitely relevant. I mean, obviously, when I didn't hit five, I didn't hit five. Like, what are you supposed to do? But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one. But yeah, I think the bot severely misplayed the end game, and I'm not sure. Like my first player advantage and the fact that I started scoring first might have been enough to carry me through, despite my disadvantage in the grand market split. Mm. Bot bought two platinums and a workers village, so 20. It saw 22 coins. I think I had calculated that it could hit 23. It didn't specialist a quarry though. I don't know. It like it must have drawn its deck. What did it do with the modify? Specialist Grand Market, Specialist Grand Market, Specialist Grand Market, Specialist Grand Market. That's all of its specialists. Wait, where are the other Grand Markets? One, two, three, four. It just didn't bother to play them? It's weird. I guess it didn't though. So I could have gotten to 26, which makes. Wait, that means my math was off by one. I was assuming specialist plays quarry, which is if it instead plays grand market, then that's uh, one extra point, so it should be 24, not 26. I am I am missing something here. I am confused. But in any case, I don't think it would have like had a win here or anything. It also didn't play its workers village. I don't know what's going on here. What was its hand? Three grand markets and two specialists, so we can see everything that it drew. Drew grand market, drew modify, drew specialist, drew grand market, drew quarry, drew workers village, drew galleria. So it didn't play the workers village. It didn't play the the fifth and sixth grand markets. It didn't play the modify. Why? I don't know. Um, it could have gotten double colony and taken the lead. Like it definitely could have done that at the very least. Hmm. Okay. Well, all in all, very confusing. Whatever though. In any case, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.